you doing? Dr. Donita here, back in sunny Florida. We're back with a really cool procedure with Cannoli. He's a French Bulldog. We're gonna do one of the Brachycephalic disease complexes. We're going to repair his nose because he has Stenotic Nares. All right, so let's jump into the procedure. Good morning. We are here with Cannoli today. He is getting neutered, and we're also going to fix a few issues that are really common with brachycephalic breeds. So we're going to do a Nares repair on him. You can see his nose right here. It's stenotic, where it's a little closed, and you can hear all of that nasally breathing. You think that that's normal and cute, which it is cute, but with this breed, those are all part of a complex called Brachycephalic Syndrome Complex, where it's a complex of 3 different disease processes, where one of them is the Stenotic Nares, where the canal is really narrow. So we're gonna fix that. We'll be able to figure out if he has the 2 other issues once he's under anesthesia, which is either an inverted saccule, which is in the neck, or an elongated soft palate behind his throat, which usually causes that nasally breathing and that sound that he's making right there, which is not normal. Fun fact, I actually did my grand rounds presentation on Brachycephalic syndrome, so this is definitely one of my more well-known favorite type of disease complexes. Is where my surgery love came to be, because I had to do my presentation when I was a senior in vet school. So one of the procedures, very interesting. As you can see, the #1 breed in America right now is French Bulldogs. So if you have one and they're making these noises, definitely get them checked out and see if it can be fixed. Okay, so we finished Cannoli's neuter, which went well. So now we're getting ready to do the second procedure. So I already completed the laryngeal exam. So I went into the back of his throat to see if we needed to complete the other procedures, which is the inverted saccule. So if you look down into his throat here, so he has the E-tube in right here. Right here, that little flap right here, that's the soft palate. Sometimes if it's too long, it'll cover the actual trachea, and those need to be cut. So that is a part of the brachycephalic complex, but since it's not that long, we're not gonna trim it. So that is one piece that we're not to worry about. And then the other thing is the inverted saccule, which he lives in both corners back here in his throat. So you can see the saccule right there on the left, right there. Sometimes it'll like pop out like a balloon, it'll pop this way. So you can see it's still intact, and on both sides it's where it's supposed to be, right here as well. So we're not gonna mess with that. So that's the other 2 pieces of the complex that sometimes you have to cut those out. But we are gonna focus on his nose here. So you see right here how closed his nostrils are. He's not getting really good airway through there. So we're gonna trim that like a little wedge, and then we're gonna suture it together so that he has better airway at that point. So we're gonna do like a little wedge cut and then sew it together. You don't want to cut too large of a wedge because you don't want to pull too much from his nostril, but just enough for it to have a better opening than what he had before. I'm leaving a little tag so that I can come back in a few days to cut that out, because he doesn't really like his face touched a lot or messed with, or like his neck. It's easy for me to just trim it and just pull that suture right out so he won't be so stressed about us touching his face. It's a little inflamed just because we just cut into it, but overall it's starting to look good already. Mom asked about the testicles when we went inside to check him out. She said she was gonna give it to her son as a present. So I saved them, they're right there. I don't know if she wants them. We typically don't give them away, but I was gonna just show it to her so she can at least see it. But I told her I don't think her son would appreciate testicles as a gag gift, you know. I was like, maybe you could show it to him and say, hey, if you don't do your homework, you know. That was funny. And that's one side down. That looks pretty good. Alrighty. Sounds like a complicated procedure, but it's pretty quick. Look at that. You just open up his little airway. Look at that. Alright. Another cut. You want to make sure you're not cutting directly close to the medial aspect of it because you want to leave a little pocket to suture it to. We're going to close that bad boy up and suture it. And then we'll be almost done. Usually when they're under anesthesia, having the tube in is the happiest place for them because usually they don't have a great airway anyway. So having that E-tube in is probably the best breathing that they've had in their entire life. So veterinarians, what are we? Plastic surgeons, dentists, orthopedic surgeons. What else do we do? General practitioners, oncologists, surgeons, you know, pediatricians, nutritionists, all of the above, all of the above. And not just dogs and cats, all animals, depending on your interest. That looks wonderful. Look at his nose. They're even. That's just wonderful. Look at that. Look at that. We need to make sure your face doesn't turn out different. You know what I'm saying? This is my first surgical procedure that I saw working as a extern when I was in vet school. So this was the first procedure that I ever saw completed as a student. And that's why it interests me so much. And that's why I did my grand rounds presentation on it, because I just thought it was a really cool procedure. Typically, even if they're swallowing 3 or 4 times, we prefer to wait until he's up and looking around and moving his head around, just to make sure that he's able to be alert and swallowing well, because their airway can be restricted. We want to make sure he's fully awake.
Oh my goodness.
Hello. He's like, hi. I see you. All the way. All the way. All the way. Hi! Hi, friend! I needed eyeballs. There's the eyeballs. Good boy. He said, hey, I'm here. Oh my goodness. Hello. Hello, handsome. All right, we're all done with Cannoli. We had a great time. We completed his neuter, and we also did one piece of the Brachycephalic Syndrome. We repaired his Nares because he has Stenotic Nares. So definitely check that out, and we'll see you soon.